Yay! Mr. Benson is coming back tomorrow. This week felt like forever since we've had to deal with Mrs. Karen's strict rules and endless math problems.
I know, right? I was starting to think we'd never see him again. Mrs. Karen is so scary. I half expected her to turn us into frogs with how she stares at us when we get something wrong.
You two are just being dramatic. She's just strict, it's not that bad. Besides, she actually taught us a few things. Didn't she? Like how to solve those tricky equations.
Oh, sure. If you call torturing us with math for an hour straight teaching. My brain hurts so much right now that I can barely remember my own name.
What's wrong? Scared of a little math? I thought you guys were supposed to be the brave ones. You know, the ones who can handle anything that comes their way.
Maybe you should just get used to Mrs. Karen. She's not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend a week under her watchful eye?
Well, we won't have to deal with her for much longer. Mr. Benson will be back tomorrow. And he's way cooler. He actually knows how to make learning fun instead of just torturing us with boring lectures.
I just hope he doesn't take too long to settle back in. I'm ready for some real fun in class again. No offense, but I've had enough of Mrs. Karen's scary looks and endless math drills.
Ah, poor little kiddos. You're really counting on Mr. Benson to save you, huh? What if he's not as fun as you remember? What if he turns out to be just as strict as Mrs. Karen?
What if he has even more rules? You wouldn't want to have to deal with that, would you? Who knows what kind of surprises he might bring back with him?
Today is Mrs. Karen's last day. I just hope she doesn't go out with a bang.
I overheard her saying she wants to leave a lasting impression. What does that even mean?
I don't think my heart can take much more of her screaming. I feel like I might cry if she raises her voice again.
I hope you all realize that this week has been a test of your character. And I expect nothing less than respect in my classroom, even on my last day.
I really thought she'd be nicer. But she sounds angrier than ever.
It's like she's trying to scare us into behaving. Does she really think we enjoy being yelled at?
I just want to get through today without her screaming at anyone. Please, just let us survive.
Mrs. Karen, could we maybe have a fun activity today? Just to lighten the mood a little.
In my classroom? You all need to learn discipline and focus. Not games and laughter.
But why yesterday we can play game?
Look at them. They're terrified. I wonder if we can make it even worse for them.
Oh, definitely. Should we throw a paper ball in there or something? Just to spice things up?
So, Mrs. Karen, do you have any advice for us moving forward? Like, how to survive with Mr. Benson?
You think Mr. Benson will be any easier? Don't be fooled. He has his own way of keeping order. Just like I do.
Great, just what we need. More strictness.
Do you think Mr. Benson will hear all the stories about Mrs. Karen? I hope he's not scared to come back.
If Mr. Benson is anything like her, we're in for a tough time. I just hope he's not as intense.
Wow, looks like you guys are having a party. Can we join? Or are you all too scared to have fun?
What's the matter? Afraid of a little fun? Or is it Mrs. Karen keeping you all in line?
You two need to leave this classroom right now. This is not a place for your nonsense.
I don't care.
I just want this day to be over. Can't we just have a countdown until Mr. Benson is back?
That sounds like a plan. Let's count the minutes together. And maybe Mrs. Karen will let us go early.
Why does it seem like everyone in this classroom hates me? I have tried so hard to teach you all.
It's not that we hate you, Mrs. Karen. But you're just so strict and it makes us nervous all the time.
Keep your mouth shut. You think it's easy to manage a class full of kids who can't sit still for a moment?
We just want to learn without feeling scared. Maybe if you smiled a little more, we'd feel better.
Yeah, it's like walking on eggshells every day. We want to enjoy school, not dread it.
We know you care, but when you yell, just makes us afraid to ask questions.
I never wanted to scare you. I thought being strict would help you focus and learn better.
Well, if the goal was to scare us into learning, then I'd say you've succeeded spectacularly.
Yeah, maybe you should try a different approach. Like offering candy or something.
This isn't a game. I have a job to do. And I can't just give out treats to keep you quiet.
We understand that, Mrs. Karen, but teaching can be more about encouragement than punishment.
If you showed a little trust in us, we'd probably surprise you with how much we can learn.
I guess I never thought about it that way. Maybe I was too focused on rules and discipline.
It's okay to be strict sometimes, but a little kindness goes a long way in the classroom.
We all want to do well. And if we could work together, it might be better for everyone.
I appreciate you all telling me this. I never meant to make you feel this way.
Ah, look, she's crying now. What's next? A group hug.
Yeah. Or maybe she'll bake us cookies to make up for all the yelling.
Okay, no cookies. But I promise to try to be a little less strict starting tomorrow.
That sounds great. We're all excited for Mr. Benson to come back. But we'll miss you too.
Yeah, and we really hope we can make the rest of this day a bit more enjoyable together.
Thank you, everyone. Your honesty means a lot to me. Let's make today a good one. Faye Mara. Please go to your sit.
Play game? That sounds awesome, Mrs. Karen. What game are we playing? Something exciting, I hope.
Yeah. I could really use a break from all that math. Let's do something fun.
Oh, please let it be something we can all play together. I love games.
Just as long as it doesn't involve any scary rules or penalties, I'm in.
No scary rules today, I promise. We're going to play a game of charades, where you'll act out words, and the rest will guess.
Charades? That sounds perfect. I can't wait to see who acts the silliest.
I bet I can act out a lion better than anyone else here. Just watch me.
Just don't scare Mrs. Karen too much with your lion impression. We want a fun game, not a horror show.
Don't worry, I'm not scared.